So this assumption that I have to earn the same salary as I do today in, say, a paid employment, a 9 to 5, or I have to earn the same salary as my partner or that guy over the road is complete rubbish. So get rid of all these assumptions. Question why for everything. Why do I need this amount of money for a car? Why do I need this amount of money for a house? Hey, it's Sue. Long time since I've done something like this, but it feels good to be stood up against a board. You're probably wondering, what is all this about, Sue? Well, today we're talking all about your target monthly income, and this can be your minimum and your target, as in your dream monthly income, the type of thing that will give you the lifestyle that you really want. And this is a really interesting exercise, definitely one to do with your partner if you have one, because what you'll find is there's a lot of things that you think are going to cost you an arm and a leg and you will never be able to afford, when the reality is you can. So this concept of a rich life, as in doing, being and having all of the things you want, can be within your reach for your freedom lifestyle. So let's not say that it's one or the other. It's not one thing or the other. It can be anything. But the first thing you've got to do when you approach this exercise, if you really want to have success with it and not just stick in your old mindset of this is how I earn, spend and work now, is you've got to shift your paradigm. You've got to take yourself out of this box that we've put ourselves into, these assumptions, and we've got to use first principle thinking. If it was good enough for Elon Musk to build a rocket, if it was good enough for the scientists to break everything down and to create all of the great wonders of the world that we have today, like electricity, then I think first principle thinking can really help us too. This is where the first step you're going to do is you're going to break down all of the assumptions of the things you think you have to have, spend your money on, do or earn. So this assumption that I have to earn the same salary as I do today in, say, a paid employment, a 9 to 5, or I have to earn the same salary as my partner or that guy over the road is complete rubbish. So get rid of all these assumptions. Question why for everything. Why do I need this amount of money for a car? Why do I need this amount of money for a house? And when you start to really question it and you're saying, I'm going to challenge these things now. Do I really need the Netflix and the Sky subscription and the Disney Plus and the, you know where this goes on. Do I really need to upgrade my phone every 2 years to the most expensive £70 a month contract? Do I really need to upgrade my car, or will the one I already have work for me? Or something that's just a regular brand rather than a prestige model that everybody's clamoring over, and there's that supply and demand thing going on with cars at the minute. When we start to really question the assumptions and challenge those and say why, we start to break it all down to the little pieces of what's left. So what's a given? What have we got to spend our money on that gives us that feeling of, all right, this is the real minimum target income. And then how can I then use the other money in a way, or some more money if I want to earn it, in a way that enhances the quality of my life? And that's where using the target monthly income calculator can really help you. There is a great copy in Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Workweek. It's perhaps a little bit complex, I think, for what most of us are trying to achieve. He kind of breaks it down into all sorts of buckets and different things. So I'm going to just go do you a really simple version. And if you are listening to me on the podcast or you're watching me, I want to make sure I put a download link underneath this in the blog link comments so that you can go there and you can just download a template and you can just play around with it if you like. Or you can at least see a visual image of it on the website as well. So this will really help you. So we're talking target monthly income. So I'm going to put target monthly income, and hopefully you can see that. And that's our objective, to get to our target monthly income. So first of all, we have to break down our needs. This is where you go through every single outgoing and you challenge the assumptions. And you also got to have your future head. You might be in a transition period, but your future head might say, if you're like me, the Freedom Project is all about freeing up more time to spend it with my family. You know, one of the big bonuses of doing that is I get to reduce my childcare bill. An enormous monthly childcare bill where I'm probably spending a third of my month working just to pay for my childcare needs. So those needs, if you have childcare, and childcare is, say, £1,000 a month, if you've got a child in full-time nursery, then simply by reducing the amount you work will really help you with that childcare bill. So maybe the needs are £1,000 now, but you can actually reduce that to 500 by halving your contract. And this is where you're sort of making a decision about how more flexibly I'm going to live and work, or by doing something like start your own business. Then you might have your food bill. And again, you might be spending a lot of money a month. I'm spending, around £500 a month on feeding the family of 4. But I know with less convenience foods, with a lot less of, signing up for HelloFresh and things like that, I know with a lot less takeaways or anything like that, I know I can definitely reduce our food bill just by being a lot more conscious. I do a lot of what I do when I'm struggling for time. I buy convenience foods. Convenience foods cost me more. They're highly processed and not good for us. So I always feel guilty about it. So let's address that. So this is something I'm definitely going to reduce. So let's just put some estimates about what our reductions can be there. And then we might have, shelter or home, and utilities. Now again, there might be your present state and then there'll be your future state. So for example, for me, this might equate to £2,000 a month. And in future state, we're downsizing because we're selling this house. I think one of my earlier shows, I shared with you that we'd spent the last 4 years renovating this place with a view to releasing some capital, downsizing, and having a much more stable capital investment so that we can do things with that. We're investing a lot of that now when we sell, so that we're kind of set up for the emigration and for the freedom project life. So this £2,000, I know we're going to get it down to about £1,000 by doing the relocation. So maybe yours is very similar. If you're, I know people who have gone to travel and they've either rented out their homes and then sold their car because there's no point storing it for a period. They might as well just do that while they go traveling for a couple of years. Or they've sold their home, or I know people who have sold the house they're in, downsized and bought something that's ideal for rentable, so it's low risk, it's got low outgoings if it ever is empty, but they can rent it out and they've got a base here for when they come back and they're still on the property ladder. So, there's all sorts of options for you. And like I say, the other ones are reducing your childcare by reducing your contract. Is that this might be where you are now, which makes, your minimum monthly income look very, 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 very high. And you might be thinking, I can't ever, ever, ever leave my corporate job with something like that. But when you look at what you can make it, so here I've got 1900, that makes a significant difference by altering your lifestyle. So I know by reducing my contract, by reducing my food bills, by downsizing our house, I give myself more flexibility to be able to do something else, to be able to look after my kids and spend more time with it. And you know what? Not many of us ever think about that trade-off. So many of us go, no, I've got these bills, I need to work this long. But the reality is we've made assumptions and we've followed societal norms and what everybody else is doing, because what's a sign of success? Look around you at all your friends, all the people that you grew up with. What are you looking out for to determine that they're successful? What are your parents saying is successful? They have a good job with a good title, they have a good nice car, they have a big house, getting bigger, they're doing well for themselves. And the problem is, by sending that message out, we're saying it's okay to be a cog in a wheel for however many years. It's okay to give up your freedom. It's okay to just carry on with a traditional model that was actually created 100 years ago. And none of us in this generation are going to be the normal retirees. We are not going to be retiring on these wonderful pensions that generations before us do. We've got to approach this very differently from a freedom and sustainable lifestyle. And in all fairness, who do we want bringing up our children? Who do we want to spend time with? How do we want to spend doing it? And you need to ask yourself these questions, really challenge it on first principle basis. Right, then we're going to move on to the fun bit, the wants. Now, some people call this, the rich life stuff. And this is really interesting. So under here, you'll have your to be. I want to be something. I want to do something. I want to have something. So let me give you just a few examples from mine. So I wanted to be an amazing mum. One that my kids, come to me, they want to spend time with me, they enjoy spending time with me, and all that kind of stuff. Question, how much does that cost? Answer, 0. I mean, I could quantify it by saying, oh, an amazing mum would take them to theme parks, would take them here, would take them there. But the reality is, to be an amazing mum, I just need to spend time with them. I just need to be around more, and I need to be happy, and I need to be well, and I need to have energy to spend time with them and do things. So that in itself means nothing. What do I want to do? I want to travel. Okay. Europe. So I might quantify that and say, well, I'm going to travel in a year, and each year I'm probably wanting to spend in a year, I probably want to spend, let's say, £7,000 traveling. If it's £7,000 per year, per annum, you can break that down into your monthly costs. In fact, let's make this math super easy on me. I'm going to do 6k per annum on travel, which is £500 a month in savings. That's what I need to make. To be, to do, and to have. It might be to speak another language. So, in fact, let me put mine actually there. So, French and Italian. Cost, it's going to cost me £20 per month in subscriptions to a course. Or I could spend £20 per week, which I have done before, on one-to-one lessons. You know, it's still 100 quid a month, easy. I mean, 100 quid a month, really that much to live your dreams out? I want to do exercise. So for me, I love yoga, I love Pilates, I love all that stuff, and I love riding. How much does this stuff cost? Oh, well, it turns out I can do that with a yoga mat, which I already have, so that would be £0. I can do Pilates. Yeah, there's loads of good stuff. I can subscribe to a channel. I can spend £20 a month, £40 a month, 50, 100. Definitely do that. Or I could do nothing. Riding my bike? Well, I already have my bike, so I guess that's £0. And here's the really interesting thing. When you really break down what you want to do, to be, and to have in life, the cost of those things is quite immaterial. You know, unless you're going to have a sports car on there, if you want to own a Lamborghini on there, then sure, this is going to be quite a big monthly expenditure. But if you don't, if actually you've realised that the things that make you happy are travelling, being outdoors, doing some exercise, being with your family, exploring more, you'll probably find that many of these things can be done for less than you think. So this is a really interesting exercise. I want you to do this, and I really would love for you to share them with me. If you feel brave, share them with your partner. What you'll realise is, I think one of mine as well is, you know, I'm really conscious about certain things. So I might go to the beauticians, the hair and beauty side of things, just to feel like I'm making an effort. I'm not like most women. I don't spend hours on my hair in the morning, as you can probably tell. But that might cost me £80 a month. And that's a luxury item. But I've determined that that is part of who I am. Is, you know, I show up smart, and that matters to me. So whatever these things are, what you realise is the reality is your rich life, your wants are probably not as far out of reach as you think. And if they do seem out of reach, then you just set yourself a little saving goal each month to put it in a little pot so that you have it at the end of, say, a 2-year period, or 1 year, 5 years, however long it's going to take, depending on how big your wish list is. So this is your basic target monthly income. It's adding up how much is it going to cost. Let's say you want to go to Thailand, and you want to, you know, stay in some huts. What you'll realise is if you start to do the research in Thailand, actually travelling in Thailand, you know, because of our exchange rate, we can do so much more in these countries. But what we do is we go and we look at the luxury resorts, we go to the travel agents, we do all of that kind of thing. And we don't think about it from a, what experience do I want to get from doing this? If the experience of owning the Lamborghini, is it owning the Lamborghini, or is it simply being able to drive one once? Well, you can do a track day for a couple of £100. So take your choice here. How do you want to build your rich life, your target monthly income for your rich life, your wants and your needs? It's really going to make you feel fulfilled. I was absolutely astounded about how there was no financial reason stopping me from doing a lot of the things on my ideal day, my ideal life. The things that were stopping me was the fact that I had an idea that I had not enough time. I was too stressed. I didn't have enough flexibility, freedom, or work-life balance. So that these things got squeezed and didn't happen. And that's where taking a look at something like this can really help you to look at your goals, look at what you're doing, the actions you're taking, how you feel about it, as well as your financial situation. So that's your target monthly income as a very basics, your needs and wants, and then total it up at the bottom, and that'll give you how much you need to earn as a minimum to achieve that each month. And that can be your target, that can be your initial goal. It doesn't mean that's the limit, it can be that or better. Remember, that's what we're inviting into our lives, this or much better. But at least it gives you sort of a blue sky overall view of how much you need to earn and how you can achieve that without thinking I must simply have everything that I have right now. It's really getting selective, challenging those assumptions and starting from the ground up with what do you really want? So I hope that that's inspired you, and I hope that you can read my writing if you're watching this on the video. And if you're listening to me on the podcast, I would love for you to head over to sueparker.io. You can catch the download link underneath this for a template version of this and also an image and the rest of the blog. And you can also reach out to me because I would love to know how you're getting on and what your target monthly income is and how you're struggling with whether you're transitioning, whether you've already started your business and you're moving on, you're freelance, whether you've handed your notice in, you're really excited and you just want to share that news with somebody, then I would absolutely love to hear from you. Take care. Bye.